That's awesome. All right, so I'm gonna close this out before we get a wicked echo from YouTube. So guys, again, we're talking through the social media stuff today. That is the main purpose of this. So I'm not gonna I don't have a slideshow. This is not gonna be like a 3-point sermon of how to run a Facebook page. Like that's not at all my intention today. My intention is to be a little bit more interactive. And we have a lot of people live. Obviously, there's 15-ish of you guys, and then there's like 50 people on Zoom right now. But what I want to go over first is like why social media, right? Because I think a lot of us understand that we should use social media, but we don't know why we're using it. We're just like, at one point we're trying to recruit off of it, the next minute we're trying to get a client, and we're just like all over the place, and there's zero consistency and no consistency. Like if you look at a lot of the major companies right now, right? Without getting political, a lot of them shifted their perception like that, and they lost a ton of market share, right? And so you might not have a multi-billion-dollar business that you're going to lose market share on tomorrow if you change your values overnight, but you do need to understand that that is a principle that you can live by with your 13 clients, right? And how are you going to ever get to 1,300 clients? It's by scaling. It's about being consistent. So I'm going to go to my Facebook page really quick. Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'll go to mine. So I'll be honest, mine is definitely not the best, but I think I do a pretty good job. And if you look at my social media, so can you kill the main light real quick? Just hit the switch. I was gonna say if it's the wrong one, just do the other one. So so I'm going to show you mine, right? So this is my Facebook page. All right. So if you're looking at my Facebook page, I'm just going to kind of walk you through the top, right? So, and if you don't have some of this stuff because you haven't gotten on trips, you haven't spoken in front of a group or whatever, that's fine. That doesn't mean that you aren't going to be successful. It just means that you need to figure out something that looks clean and professional, right? So you go to my Facebook page, the very first thing that you're seeing on my cover photo, does that look like moderately successful and I might be able to tell you what I'm talking about, or is it like a meme of cats?
I know mine has a rabbit.
Right, it's not a rabbit picture, right? So but the truth is, like, it's me and my wife on a stage, and if you're not in Primerica, you probably don't know what stage that is, right? Because you probably don't know the logo. And I'm not intentionally not putting Primerica there. That picture just didn't, I happen to not have Primerica in it, but I wanted to put a picture of me and my wife on a stage there. So when, Sean, you come to my Facebook page, you're like, okay, this dude's talking in front of people in some capacity. I'm at least gives a little bit of credibility right away. Does it make sense? Cool. Can you guys still hear me on Zoom? Yes. Okay, cool. I thought it said unmute, or it's muted over there, so that's why I was double checking. But no, you're good. I just saw the little bar popped up. So so then from there, guys, if you look at 4.9 thousand or 4.9 friends, 4.9K friends. I can't read. I'm sorry. So you all know the max for friends that you can have on Facebook, right? What is it? 5,000. Okay. So I float around 4.9 to 5,000 all the time. And when I go through and I send my messages, I have a rule, and I showed my team this yesterday. It's the live feed on my YouTube channel from yesterday about like direct messaging and how I do it. The script doesn't matter. No, probably not going to send you my exact script. Talk to your RVP if you're on the call or if you're in person about what they want you to be sending out. But what I'm sending to people, I go through, and if I message them 3 times, they don't respond. My rule of thumb is I remove them as a friend on Facebook. Why? Because I need to create space for somebody else to nurture a relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and send you 48 messages over 19 years and hope that eventually you come around. I'm 19 years. I'm not going to be running the business anymore. I'm just going to be collecting checks from the yacht, from the cruise ship, right, Dustin?
Yeah.
So that's the goal, though. I'm just being honest, and I'll be around, but I'm not in that capacity. I'm definitely not going to be field training people in 19. I'll be working with RVPs. Right, and building business. So you have to understand that your time is valuable, and there's a little bit, you got to put a little bit of urgency behind it. I guess you don't have to, but if you're trying to get this thing done quickly, you need to put a little bit of urgency behind it, because you're trying to compound people, right? Think about investing. If you only invested $100 a year, that's not going to be great, right? But if you invested $100 a month, starting when you're 18 or 19, that's a lot. You're going to be looking real good in 40 years, right? But if you only invest $100 a year over the next 4 years, you're going to be working at Walmart and CVS, both full time, so you can retire, right? So we have to understand that the game that we're playing, we're investing and we're building and we're putting daily deposits. We're dollar cost or people cost averaging, if you will. Like that's all I'm doing on social media. Like I am putting daily deposits into my investment account of people, which is how we get to compound so damn quick. Does that make sense? So anyway, 4.9 people. I don't have my Facebook set to followers. Why? Facebook throttles your news feed when you switch it from friends to followers. So some of you guys on the Zoom call, I know some of you guys have your Facebook set as public figure, so you can monetize your Facebook and make 13 cents every month off of 7 people seeing your reels. In my opinion, that's not worth it. My Facebook and a lot of the people that I follow, and then I'm going to show you a couple people in a minute, they're not public figures, they're personal profiles, and you can still build followers on your personal profile, right? So if I come down here, like I have 4.9 thousand friends right at the top, right under my name. But if you come down on the left-hand side, I have 835 additional people that follow me. So that number is building fast. Like I'm adding about 100 a week right now, just when I'm actually posting reels, like, and they get views, like it compounds fast. Okay, so if you guys familiar with Russell Brunson, if you're familiar with Russell Brunson, just put yes in the Zoom chat. Does anybody in here know who Russell Brunson is? Okay, there's a book called Traffic Secrets. Okay, if you want to learn how to build a social media profile and you want to learn how to build traction quickly, you should buy and you should read and then actually do what that book tells you to do. It's kind of like the Bible, right? You buy it, you read it, and then if you do it, it changes your life. If you don't, it's not going to. The Traffic Secrets book, what it tells you is how to build a social media following, okay? Because today, if you started doing this like right now, you're going to have like one person that likes your post that's going to be like your cousin, right? And then tomorrow you're going to have one person again. You're going to be like, oh, it doesn't work. I'm just going to go back to cold market prospecting and not talking to anybody I know and doing the same things that aren't working. Again, this is a resource and a tool for you. This cannot be the only thing, but this can be a very powerful thing. Okay. So anyway, on my left-hand side, it does not say financial coach, life insurance agent, district leader at Primerica, like all these things, the life insurance agent at Primerica. You don't see any of that, right? What it says, you're capable of way more than you think. I help people reach for those new levels. What are you talking about? I don't know. What level are you trying to go to? I'll help you like in your marriage and your finances and your spiritual life and your fitness, like just trying to be friends, like whatever. I don't care. I'm going to help. You can't be around me and me not push you to be a little bit better. That's the whole purpose of this. I don't care if they're in business with me necessarily. I met with a guy the other day. Actually, he moved to Florida like 3 weeks before we did from the next town over. We met each other in Michigan. I didn't even realize it. And we connected here through a cold message that I sent him on Facebook. And we went to Armature Works and we're going to start like a little networking group. We already have like 7 people committed to the networking event. He sent me 4 referrals. I recruited one of them. That was on Thursday. Like there's no reason this could be a very powerful tool for you, but are you willing to use it at the capacity that I'm going to talk to you about, number one, and number two, that where you start to actually get traction? Because I don't think that if you just like flirt with social media, you're really going to get a whole lot of traction and you're just be like, well, I tried, it didn't really work for me. Right. So anyway, so over here it says former CEO at Redemption Fitness. Again, doesn't say anything about regional vice president at Primerica. Right. Not because I don't like Primerica. I love Primerica. I love what they do for us. But when you see, like Andy said, he's like, if you go to Google as a new person and you search Primerica and it says best employer for women, best insurance company, top whatever, billions of dollars of assets under management, and Primerica is a scam, which article are you clicking on as a new person? The scam article, right? So I just want to try to remove that from people that I don't know going to Reddit versus coming and actually talking to me and having a conversation, right? So, and I'll tell them when I meet with them, like, yeah, we're with Primerica. Have you ever heard of Primerica? And they'll tell you all the things. You guys know what I'm talking about. You've heard it all, right? And so when they say, well, it's a scam or it's a pyramid or blah, 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 or whatever, I just diffuse that right there on the call. You can't really diffuse that in a message on Facebook. And let's say 20 years ago or whatever, Dustin's getting ready to maybe join Primerica and he goes and looks at my profile and he sees that it's a scam and he never shows up. I just lost a dude that's built what, 20 RVPs? That's not great. So I'll just go ahead and leave Primerica off my profile because I don't want to deter somebody that might have a problem with it. But the other thing I'll tell you too, is if you're in a lower class of, I'm not trying to be mean, but like if you're in a lower class market of like people that are just broke mindsets, you're going to get a lot more of the scams and stuff like that than you are when you're in a better market. Like everyone that I know that I talk to about Primerica, like, and they make 200, 300, 400 grand a year, like the people that I'm really working on recruiting right now, like they all know Primerica. They all see a lot of value in it. They just don't know if if the risk and reward factor is there for them walking away from a $400,000, $500,000 a year insurance business that they currently operate. Right. So, and I can respect that, but it's just my job to then play that long game with them and talk to them. Right. And then to continue to show them that I'm winning on Facebook and not complain about politics. Right. So, I show them that I went to college. I didn't graduate college. Y'all don't need to tell anybody that. Right. I just want them to know I went to college where I'm educated. Okay. Dang it. I live in Tampa. I'm married. I got this. And then this is my scheduling link. I'm going to change this probably to the How Money Works thing eventually. I just honestly haven't gotten around to it. But I can't tell you how many times I've like gotten appointments just randomly booked just by having my scheduling link there. Close a couple policies off, actually closed one last week off of that. But I'm going to put How Money Works right there. I see in the Zoom chat, Elian says he has both up. I am not a fan of confusion to your prospects, right? And let's face it, I have 499,000 or 4,999, whatever, people that are prospects on my social media, right? So I don't want to have 97 links up. And they're like, which one do I click on? Well, I can't decide. I'm just going to go back to the reels I was watching, right? You get their attention. They're on your page. Give them one thing to do, not 7, right? You need to give them one thing. It's called a link magnet or a hook, right? Think about a fishing pole, right? You want as many hooks in the water as you can with fishing poles to catch fish. But if you can't grab them, right? If you can't manage 2 poles at one time, you need to just have one really good bait, one with good bait in a good market, and you're gonna be reeling them in all day, right? But if I go to the Grand River in Lansing, Michigan and throw 19 fishing poles in the water, I'm not gonna catch one fish worth eating, right? If you're from Lansing, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like polluted and all types of mutated fish. It's the weirdest thing in the world. I'm never gonna eat a fish out of the Grand River, never. You couldn't pay me enough. But I could take one solid good fishing pole with good bait out in the middle of Tampa Bay and catch a massive fish, and I could eat for a couple of days off that. Right. So, and I'm not saying that catching little fish is a bad thing. You need little fish because a lot of little fish, you can bait them and go get a bigger fish with it. Right. You recruit somebody that knows somebody else and they take you to go meet somebody that's going to be an SNSD here. You just never know. So I'm not saying to not have that, but what I am saying is watch what poles you're putting in the water, right? What is available for people that are coming to your Facebook to look at? Are they seeing the low-hanging fruit, or are they seeing a pathway to make $1 million a year? What are they seeing? Right. So, and then, so I'm going to go through a couple of, so this is the, I don't know if you guys knew this, you can pick the pictures that are right here. I haven't done that recently, but all of these pictures are, this is a picture of me and Taylor, this picture of me and Taylor, right? This is a picture at a wedding. This was, by the way, the one night I missed the team training. It was my sister's wedding, in case anybody was wondering, in 2.5 years. That's the only time I've ever missed a team training. Okay, so side note, don't miss a meeting. And if you're in Tampa and on Tuesdays and Saturdays, you're not in the office, change that. Okay, so what's this? Big group picture. What's this? Big group picture. Big group picture. Group picture at the gym. Group picture at the gym. I think those are the same. And then I'm not real sure how that one got on there. I might have deleted the other one. I'm not sure. But anyway, my point is you can pick your 9 pictures, right? So if you got 9 cat memes on there, right? It's like, okay, well, I'm not definitely following you. But if you got a picture of maybe you speaking at a meeting or you running a training or you and your family, like you can make it look professional. I'm not saying to make it something that you're not. I'm just saying to make it look professional. Does that make sense? So do that. And then if you look at my posts, like I'm not getting a whole lot of interaction right now. I posted a political thing on my story the other day, so I'm a little shadow banned, but that's all right. So like this is a book that I love, that I listen to almost every day. The Strangest Secret. It's 45 minutes. It's a picture of Axel, right? So look, family, right? What's this?
Exercise.
Mindset. Right, this is another mindset type of thing. I was just trying to get some interaction because I got shadow banned, so which kind of worked a little bit. Some more family stuff. What's this? A hiring post. I'm glad I'm doing this right now so I can hide this because I don't want that up there anymore. Move your trash. Nobody commented on it. Go away. And then what's this? More family stuff, right? That's another little mindset thing, right? Just something to get people interested, right? Just trying to get people to look at this. I never even comment. I need to go and comment on those. Picture of me and Taylor, right? Family picture. What's this? A business thing, right? So it's like family, business, right? I'm not just like Primerica, right? Not at all. And I don't post as much as I need to be, but look, a client or not a client, an agent success. This dude made like $1,500 in a day as a district. Closed 4 policies. One of them we had to push back at COD, but that doesn't matter. Like that's what is he going to make off of that? Right. And I recruited 2 people off this post. Because they're seeing success, right? So our team, and so there's another like little vision board, just all in my family again. There's a reel about mindset. There's going to be a bunch of reels on here. I usually try to post at least a couple of reels a week, but business picture, right? So you get the point, right? It's not just business, Primerica, buy me, sell me, do me, join me, all that type of stuff, right? Nobody wants to see that because they see that all the time. So you need to interact with them and be a real person, right? I'm not great at it, so I said I'm not the best at it. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Andy Onstead or not. Dude's gonna cross 400,000 by the end of the month. He'll cross 500,000 by next month. This is the guy that trained me. He was here a couple months ago, and trained you on social media, basically telling you all the same things I'm telling you. He just had a presentation. And look, same thing. He's on stage with a whole lot of people looking at him, right? And then you got a picture of him and his family right here. Very similar to mine. Not the same, but similar. Right? Okay, so he's got his profile set to a public figure. That's his choice. I personally just don't like that. That's my preference, and I'll show you why in a second. But
He doesn't have friends either. He's only has following.
yeah, because he's a public figure, but he also has it blocked, so you can't see who his friends are. So you can't go and friend request all of his friends and get into those markets because that's what he's doing. So he has it set like that. I personally don't have it set like that. That's a preference thing, right? There's nothing right or wrong with it. That's just how he's got it structured. And you need to figure out what works for you. For me, the way I direct message people, I go through and I go in alphabetical order on my friends list. If I have a public figure page, I can't go in alphabetical order on my friends list. To me, that is more important than me having 7,000 followers and no friends, because I need the alphabetical order list of my friends. So every day I can go send 25. I'll show you in a second. Is this helpful? Are you guys like, is this helping you?
Yeah.
Okay, because a lot of you guys have gross Facebooks. I'll just be honest. Like I've seen some of your Facebook feeds, like, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? Can you turn that light back on? I like that fan though. That's a good fan. Let me pin myself to this so people on Zoom can see me
Oh,
and
you know what? It's this one.
not that fan. What's that?
It's this one
Oh, it is? It should be.
because it's using this mic.
Oh, gotcha.
So if you make me the whole co-host.
Oh, I make you a co-host too. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. All right, you should be a co-host. So that's like the basics on like the social media, like the way your profile should look if you want to kind of mimic what I'm doing and stuff like that. So let me ask, or let me like open it up for questions. No, I don't want to unmute myself and make it crazy. Okay, cool. They're good there. Can you guys still hear me? Good. Izzy, you good? Awesome. I want to open it up for questions. I'll take a couple live, a couple on Zoom, and then I'm going to go into like what I do when I direct message people. Because you can like go and copy the framework of my posts or Andy's posts or anyone that you read that you like, and you get, you read it and you get a little bit of traction. And I'll give you the framework for a post in a minute, but I got Zoom up here first. So we'll go with Bunny Solaris. If you want to, I think I've said your name right. If I'm not, I'm sorry, please don't hate me. But you should be able to unmute yourself. Go ahead.
Thank you. All right. Very useful information. And I may have missed it. I just have a quick question. So
Yeah.
do you have just this one Facebook, or do you have a separate one that you keep for like your close-knit family and friends? Or do
No.
you just like my
Social-
family? my business?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I'll make it really easy. Social media is not a place that I connect with people on. Social media is a place that I use to grow my business. It is 0% for friends and family, 100% for business. I do have like my grandparents on my Facebook. I do have I'm not gonna, when I go through my messages, obviously I'm not gonna send them a cold direct message, like, but outside of like, you know, immediate family, there's probably, I don't know, 50 or maybe 60 people on here that I just have on there because I've had them on there since I started Facebook, and they're friends, like close friends and family. And I just, you know, I have some boundaries up there where I'm not gonna cross and like cold message them. But they're on there and they share my stuff sometimes, so it's helpful, but yeah, so you, like, I should have said this before, but in my opinion, I think everyone needs to make a conscious decision. Excuse me, I think everybody needs to make a conscious decision about, what's the purpose of your Facebook? Is it for business, or is it for like family and friends? And if it's for family and friends, that's fine. Just, you're gonna have to get good at prospecting and doing the other things, right? And I would not have 2 Facebooks because that's kind of weird, in my opinion, like, and again, like I said about the public figure thing, I don't run a public figure page because I don't think it's useful. Like, I had a gym page, which we posted stuff on, but most of my new memberships from social media came from my page and my coach's pages, not from the gym page. Right? People aren't going and like, because Facebook is a pay to play platform. That's hard to say. Pay to play platform. Goodness gracious. Where if you have a business page, right? So if you have a business page, you have to pay money to put it in front of people's eyeballs. Okay. Now, and the bigger your audience, if you have 100,000 people, 1,000 people are going to see it on a business page. But if you have a personal profile, it's going to be probably about the same amount of people off of 5,000 people. They're going to just drop it in front of their eyes for a second. If it gets traction, they're going to show it to more of it. That's like, so I don't know if you guys know that, like social media, they don't just show it to all your friends right away. They show it to a small group of them. And if it gets some traction, it opens it up to more and more people. And so the business pages work the same way, but the amount of people they show it to is way less. And most people really suck at social media. And so like, you're not getting a lot of interaction, and your business page, which is already throttled because they want you to pay to get eyeballs on you. They're just, it's not, you can't really test stuff there, because if you have 100 people that like your page, and you post something, you get 1 like on it, you're like, it's not working. But if you post the same thing on your personal profile, you got 400 or 500 people on there, you're going to get much better interaction. And then you interact with all the comments, kind of keep it going. Anybody live have any questions about
Thank you.
profile setup? And then Dana, I see, we'll go to you next. Anybody live?
I got a question.
Well, you'll be next. You go ahead.
Just a quick question. So I've had Facebook forever.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I haven't posted anything really crazy or stuff that's gonna make me look bad.
Yeah.
Just, you know, just funny posts, just stuff that's not, you know, business minded. And now that if I want to use my Facebook page for that purpose, should I just delete all that stuff or hide it?
Yeah, so that's a good question, actually, and I was gonna talk about that, so I'm glad you brought that up. This, in my opinion, you should probably go back and clean up anything that's like red flags, right? And you're like, oh, that's not great, like maybe just delete it or hide it or archive it, so or
Can
change.
you hide it?
Yeah, you can change the view from like public to
Oh.
just friends to only me.
Gotcha.
So you can go,
Oops, sorry.
there you go. You can go back and change some of those things. Now, not all of them, but you can go back and change some of those for sure. And then just going forward, I run it through a filter. Is this going to build my business? Does this make me look good or bad? Does this make me look good? Cool. I'm going to post it, right? Social media, it's a highlight reel. I mean, it is what it is. Just know the game you're playing, right? Don't be mad at it. Like you're just playing the game that everybody else is playing. So, and if you're not very good at it right now, that's fine. Don't try to appeal to everybody. Like if you're like 23 years old, don't try to go out there and appeal to a whole bunch of people that you can't connect with, right? If you're 55 years old and you're like, I'm not going to ever be able to connect to 20-year-olds, well, then don't try. Try to connect to your people. Hey, just start talking about your grandkids, and you're watching your kids grow up and helping them secure their families and stuff like that. And connect to people that are going to relate to you. And then know that when you're adding people on social media, you're not just adding anyone and everyone. I am 100% judging a book by its cover on Facebook. 100%. Like if you've got a Snapchat filter, I don't care if it's just a little ribbons on my cheeks, right? I'm not going to add you. I'm going to add, like if you go look at most of my friends on Facebook, at least the ones recently that I've added, they're all pretty much all professional headshots or like wedding pictures and stuff like that. They look better. Why? Because I just, in my opinion, my experience, like those people generally care a little bit more about what's happening in their life. I'm not trying to be rude or wrong or negative or anything like that. It's a volume business. Like this is not, I don't nurture Facebook as much as I could to get as much out of it as I can, because I've got some leaders that I'm training right now. But when I started, I was in every post I had, I was on every comment, I responded to everybody, I sent them messages like, thanks for what, just to build that traction. And then it started going from there. So, Dana and then Sean. Dana's on Zoom. You should be able to unmute yourself now.
Hey, Dan, thank you so much for such good information. Really appreciate that. How does it work with Instagram? Because I know you have Facebook and then you have Instagram. So
That's a great question. I have no idea. I don't like Instagram all that much, to be honest.
You did your whole business with Facebook.
Huh?
You did the whole business with.
Yeah, so I did the whole business off Facebook pretty much. I don't really use Instagram, TikTok, any of that stuff. I cross post on it. So like my reels and my pictures, they go on Instagram too. And I do get stuff from that, but that is definitely, I am not like feeding the Instagram machine. Like I am working Facebook. I saw somebody post about LinkedIn. I can't even spell LinkedIn. I like literally, I hate it. I hate LinkedIn. I think it's the worst. I think everybody on there is just trying to sell you crap. I hate it so much. I have a profile on there. Randomly, I'll post things on there, but actually like I've been getting a lot on my Facebook and actually like recently YouTube too. I've been getting a decent amount of interaction on YouTube because of, or not, it's mostly Primerica people, but just because of what I'm putting out there. But I'm just trying to build credibility in everywhere I can. So if you go search me out anywhere on any platform, you see subscribers, followers, whatever it is, and you're like, okay, this guy's worth listening to.
Dan, speaking on the track, how long it took you to get some traction? Because I know people are gonna hear this stuff and they're gonna, like you said in the first 3 minutes you were talking, I'm gonna do this, I'm fired up, I'm excited, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later they're gonna stop because they haven't built any traction. I mean, how long did it take you?
Yeah. Did you guys hear Izzy or not Izzy? Sorry, did you guys hear Julio's question, Izzy?
Yes.
Okay. So you got to understand that I started really working social media in like January before I started Primerica for my online fitness business. I wasn't doing that for Primerica at all. So I started changing all of my messaging to like helping people lose weight and helping moms and dads. And that's what I started adding on social media. Then in May, when we joined Primerica, I put an opportunity post up. I hadn't done any type of come buy my program, join my program, nothing like that at all. So it took about 5 months to really like see the fruit of it. But if you think about it, it's kind of like gardening, right? Like Taylor, my wife, is like, you guys know my wife, she's like all of a sudden into like growing every vegetable and fruit in my back patio, which is smaller than this little room. But it's awesome, it's cool, and it gives us something to do like together. And last night I'm watching this like garden tour at 11 o'clock at night on YouTube. But anyway, my point to that is like we've had all these plants for like 2 or 3 months and we've harvested exactly 0 yield from it so far. But like we've got a banana tree that's growing, an orange tree that in 2 to 3 years will be huge. When we buy a house, we'll be able to put it and we'll have oranges, like, you know what I mean? And so we know that that's coming. What's that?
Fruit rats.
Yeah, we know that we know what's coming from it, right? Like, and so if I know that on social media, if I leverage it correctly, I'm going to be able to yield a lot of fruit later. And you harvest it and you prune the bad branches, right? You get rid of the negative, toxic people. You unsubscribe to things that don't give you joy. Get all of that out of here. And then turn it back around and put your energy back into the things that do create your business and move your business for you. So, David, I see your hand up. Dana, you can lower your hand unless you got another question.
Hey, buddy. Can you talk about when adding friends to Facebook, adding not Primerica?
Yeah. If you're a Primerica person, I'm not going to add you unless you're like an RVP that I actually know and I want to build a relationship with. Like, don't take that the wrong way. It is what it is. I'm just not going to sit here and add a whole bunch of reps that are in other people's hierarchies to that's useless for me.
It's a tool, right?
Yeah, that doesn't provide any amount of value to me moving forward. And again, you can be mad at that if you want to, or you can recognize that This is a resource that I use to build my business. And if you're already in the business under somebody else, I am not going to give you I'll give you my time in a situation like this, but I'm not going to answer your call for 30 minutes and talk to you about how to set an appointment. Like that's your RVP's job or your trainer. Does that make sense? Like I'm not trying to be mean, but that's so David, to answer your question, like there are RVPs, SVPs, certain income milestone people that I will go send a friend request to and build a relationship with them. Why? Because I want to be able to pull them in to train my team, right? I want to be able to I want them to see value in what I'm doing and be able to provide value to them. So that way there can be some type of mutual exchange. I like their story. I like the way they do something. And I want to be able to, it's a networking tool, like for me.
And
So
how about the new people that you recruit? Talk about them in your social media.
okay, yeah, that's a great question too. And some of them are on right now. And sorry, give me 2 seconds to stay co-host. Got it. I just joined on my phone because I'm going to show you how I do messages in a second. But so I will go through and when a new person joins the team, if they are direct to me, I will send them a friend request, because when I have them post the opportunity post, they need to be able to tag me. Right. So I will add that person. Outside of that, until you're licensed and plugging in consistently, and if you're on my team, I'm not going to add you. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just, again, I've got limited space. I have limited real estate. Right. So if I have, like, we recruit 60 people a month, right? And how many of them stick, right? 20 make it through a month, maybe. So after that, if I add all 60 of those people, 40 of them are gone within a month. Like half of those 40 don't even make an orientation. Right. And again, it's like, you could say, oh, well, you're not doing enough of whatever and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't care about your opinion on how I run my business right now. I'm sorry. But like, that's just, it is what it is. So for me personally, if I have 60 people, 20 are going to stick. Of those 20, who's getting licensed? 5 or 6? Of those 5 or 6, who's producing? Who do I want to, and they, guess what? You can go follow me. If you send me a friend request, you automatically follow me. So you might not even know that we're not friends. And again, if someone's like, hey, accept my friend request, okay, no problem. And I will most of the time. But when I go through and send my messages, if I see Dustin Rizzo and I haven't seen Dustin on training in 6 months and he's quit and he's not doing anything and he's not submitting any business. Was that? Yeah, that's probably why it is. But I'm gonna unfriend him. Right? I'm gonna unfriend him. Why? Because I've already recruited him. He's already a client, probably, if I'm doing my job the right way, right? So he knows what we're doing. If he wants to come back, he can. He has my number. He's following me still, because when you unfriend somebody, they don't unfollow you. It's just my friends list is planted seeds that I'm going to go back then and harvest. And in 18 months, I will either have harvested the seed or I will have pulled the seed out of the dirt and put a different seed in that same spot.
Dan, question, how much of what you've learned was the trial and error, or maybe how much was coaching from Andy, or even that book Traffic Secrets? Where would you say you got most of this information from?
Yeah, so it's a really good mixture of, so I'll give you like the 2-minute version of how I've learned all of this stuff. So when I was 22 or 23, Taylor and I started Redemption Fitness, which is the gym of the shirt that I'm wearing right now. This was after I sold the first gym to my dad. That's a whole long story, but I started that gym. My first class was on a Monday. It was on February 4th at 6 a.m. No one came. I came back at 5:30. No one was there at night. The next day, February 5th, I went at 6 o'clock. Nobody was there again. I sat in the back of the gym and I literally just cried. It's like, what's going on? Like, what is happening? Like, I had a bunch of people tell me they were going to come and nobody did. I went to my job at the time, which was Budget Tire. I was working at a tire shop. So I couldn't have my phone on me. I wasn't allowed to be on my phone at all during work. So I couldn't really answer my calls or anything like that. And I was doing the same thing. Just, hey, come join my gym. It's $100. Come join like literally that's all it was saying. It was horrible. It was really bad. But I knew I needed to just play in traffic. And I've always been like salesy, like minded of like, I just got to go hunt it down. There's enough people, even if you're really bad, you're going to find it. But then I'll never forget this. I was upstairs. I was taking little car tires up the stairs and I had my phone in my back pocket and something was like just I pulled out my phone, Taylor sent me a message and I just jumped on, you know how it is, you get a message, all of a sudden you're on Facebook for an hour. Well, I jumped on Facebook and I'm like sitting on the tires and I saw an ad for this guy named Alex Hormozy, which some of you probably know his name. If you've ever watched any entrepreneur or anything, you're getting his videos on Facebook and Instagram. This dude is all over the place. But this was when he first started his company, Gym Launch, which is what kind of propelled him to where he's at now. And he was talking about, we'll fill your gym in 90 days, you get your money back. I was like, well, shoot, I got no gym. So if you can fill my gym in 90 days, it's worth it to me. So I booked a call for the 6th. So the next day I went to Starbucks, which was right by my house. We didn't have internet at our house because we couldn't afford it. So I did all my work at Starbucks after hours of the tire shop. So I would close down and open up Starbucks every day. And so I was there at Starbucks on a sales call with this guy named Matt Miser. And he was talking to me about what they're going to do for me. And so I put I had $1,032 in my bank account. It was $1,000 to get started with them. So I pulled out the credit card and he's like, we don't take payments on the first day. I was like, if you're not taking my payment right now, then I'm not going to do it. Like, if you can fix my gym, I don't need to think about it. I can trust my gut. I can do it. And so we put $1,000 in. It was $1,000 down and $1,000 a week starting after 10 days.
Wow.
I had no members, nothing telling me I could do it, but something inside of me was like, you have to do this. Like, if you're ever going to get outside of where you're at, this is the step outside of your comfort zone. And so we did it. And we went from 0 to 152 members in 90 days, completely and totally filled our gym and opened up a second location 4 months in. And most of that was learning how to navigate social media.
And that's so just to go back to that original
Yeah.
question, the answer. A good chunk of that was that dude coaching on what he did.
Yes. Yeah. So the reason I brought that up was because,
By the way, can I just say this? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
you're fine, go ahead.
Like, I'm listening to this dude train here, and there's a lot of things that he's saying that you can't even train on. Like, for example, you can't train on that guy's hunger. You can't train on his hustle, his desperation. He was at a point where he was desperate, and then that inspired him to do something. Some of us come to these offices and these trainings looking for the answer and looking for the phrase that pays, but he'll give you all these things. And he said something the other day, actually, yesterday, he said something interesting on the RVP. I mentioned to our teammates. He said that I'm going to give you all my secrets. It won't matter anyway, because 99% of you won't do anything about it anyway.
Right.
And that's the 99% that he's actually manifesting right now with that hunger, that hustle, that desire, that depth. He got to a point. So yeah, this is good stuff, and you'll get all these different things. But man, somewhere deep inside, all of us here, and I include myself, man, all of us, everybody. I include Dick Walker. But somewhere we're gonna have to have a conversation with ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to say ourselves, enough is enough.
Yeah. And I can tell you 3 times in my life I've had that
Sorry to
conversation.
interrupt you, brother.
No, you're good. Because it's true. And I'm glad you said that and not me, because I know that I'm giving you everything. You're like, what's the secret, Dan? What do I have to do? How do I build a business like you did? I'm literally telling you everything I did.
You
Right.
also were sharing.
Now, before I forget,
Education with us.
I still don't get the answer to the original question. What percent, so that being said, because I'm still waiting for that.
Okay, so I don't know the actual percentages, like I forgot my protractor at home, but I'll give you a rough guess. So my rough guess is, so I learned the basics through Alex, which he learned from Traffic Secrets and Russell Brunson. So I learned the basics, the foundation, right? Like if we're going back to the garden in the backyard situation, like I learned that I needed dirt and I needed to water it and I needed to plant seeds. Like I learned that from Alex, who learned it from Russell Brunson, from the book Traffic Secrets. Like Alex's business coach was Russell, or still it might be Russell Brunson, who owns ClickFunnels and wrote the book Traffic Secrets, .com Secrets, and there's another one, Funnel Secrets. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he wrote all of those books about how to build an online business. So Alex learned from him, and so I learned from Alex, who basically just, it's a monkey see, monkey do world, not just Primerica, like every business is. There are very fundamental things that you can take from every industry that correlate. You could take me out of Primerica and drop me in an industry anywhere else. I know I could build a business. I have to learn the industry first, but I know I could build a successful business. I don't know how long it will take, but I could. And so that, Julio, to answer your question, right? I would say probably about 50% of the basics of like what I'm talking about right now, like the DMs and keeping a clean profile and stuff like that, came from Alex / Traffic Secrets, and the rest of it has come from trial and error, a combination of trial and error, and me and Andy like testing out a lot of things. Like when I got into the business, Andy had a lot of scripts that they were working pretty well for him. He had a couple posts that were working pretty well for him. And then I came in and like I tweaked a couple of them and some worked, some didn't. His posts that it's currently like you can't post it on Facebook anymore. They won't let you, but it was talking about, hey, I have a friend hiring part-time, spare time, work from home, $1,600 to $3,000 a month. Who's interested? You can't post anymore. Facebook won't let you because it's an income claim, apparently. But the reality is every single one of you, there's probably about 100 people on this training total right now. Every single one of you can make $1,600 to $3,000 a month from home right now if you wanted to. But again, about 10% of you will. And so it's just, it doesn't matter like what you're posting as long as it's clean and it makes sense and it's professional. It doesn't matter when you're posting because people are awake on Facebook at 1 a.m., correct? Right? Some people are awake at noon. It doesn't matter. Like, you just need to know what, like the game that you're playing is harvesting or planting and harvesting. And so many people, so many of my team, you all on this call right now, you're like, I want to be able to harvest before I plant and water anything. It doesn't work like that anywhere. You're like, I have zero business experience. I just started Primerica. What do I have to do to make 100 grand a year? You got to go get some business experience. I would say do it in Primerica because you're going to make more money along the way and you don't have to quit your job and risk everything. Like there have been so many times in my marriage with Taylor that we didn't know where our food was going to come from for the next week because we didn't have our transactions being processed. Are you willing to, the cool thing about Primerica is you don't need to go there to get that because you don't need to quit your job. But we went all in on our gym twice. And then COVID hit and we went all in. We doubled down on that. We drained everything that we had built up. We were finally getting out of it. And then we got into Primerica and the same thing happened, right? Like we started making money, made bad decisions, got to the point that we were like serious, like for real, like broke. And I'm not trying to give you war story. I'm just being honest with you for a second, because you're going to be like, Dan, well, how do I get the drive? You just got to go and make it happen. Like I can't give it to you, Dustin and Julio and the other RVP. We can't give you the drive to go and want to win. You just have to want that. And you can make much better decisions than I've made in my life and not have to face some of the crap that I face. Right. So I know that wasn't exactly the purpose of the training right there, but I'm glad, Julio, that you asked that because it is important. Because you do need to understand that there is a learning curve, especially, no offense, but if you're a little older than I am, right? Like if you're 50, 60 years old trying to figure out Facebook, like it's going to be like you're learning a whole nother language. It is. I'm trying to figure out how my sister like lives on her phone all the time and she's like 7 years younger than me. It's a completely different world. And so leverage that, right? Like Lee, Oliver, we've been in here every day this week since Tuesday making phone calls, right? Remember how I told you guys I'll be here every day on Tuesday. And a bunch of you guys were allowed, and I'm on here too. A bunch of you guys were like, oh, I'll be there. It's been me and Lee and two of his guys, and then Chris Daly. That's it. Downstairs, and we've set collectively 20 to 30 appointments a day in an hour and a half. And so there's activity happening downstairs here every day because we said it was going to happen. We can't drive the want and the desire into, but you can be around people that are making it happen and you can learn faster. You can shorten the feedback cycle and get better quicker. Does that make sense? Yeah. But if we try to do it by ourselves all the time, it's hard. It's hard. It's a harder business to do because we're trying to figure it out and make something out of nothing where you could go and start building a house with a bunch of professional like carpenters around you. They're going to be able to say, hey, probably don't do that. Like do this instead. And you're gonna be able to build your house a lot quicker and safer. It makes sense? Yeah. Sean, I saw you leaving your head around. What's up? Yeah, go ahead. And then I'm gonna go into what I'm actually doing after this question. So
well, it's kind of a two-part to piggyback on some of the stuff that you said. One is like you don't find people that are currently in Primerica because depending on what kind of value they give you, but if it's somebody you bring it in. And just say you friend them, when you see things that are negative on people's pages, not saying that they're a negative person. Yeah. How do you handle that? Do you reach out to them and say, hey, blah, 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 whatever, or do you just go ahead and delete it, but give them a warning prior? Because you want to.
Yeah, there's a saying, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah.
Right. So if they're not on the team, Okay, so ready here? This is gonna save some of you a lot of mental stress because a lot of you guys live in a world where everyone else's bullcrap bothers you so much. And you're like, I can't get anything done because this person, I don't even remember their name, but I saw a post on Facebook and they said this thing and I'm all offended and blah, blah, blah. Like,
Hit one of your FBI.
yeah, not even like it doesn't even like cross, like I feel the vibration of the sound coming. I'm like, get out, like put the wall. I'm serious, but you have to.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in business, I don't care if you're selling freaking homemade candles. Like if you're in business for yourself, people are gonna be negative. Like bubble up, Beth, exactly. Like you've gotta like, it's like the bubble boy in Seinfeld. Y'all ever seen that episode? Right? Like you gotta just live inside of this, inside of the bubble.
Yeah.
And like, so to answer your question, that's a good question because you need to know your mindset. Like, and I also need to know the relationship. Like if I see Dustin post something negative or Julio, I might be like, and I'll send him a message. Like we have a girl that we recruited a year ago. She'll be an RVP eventually if she ever decides to do anything, but I haven't unfollowed her, unfriended her yet because I see a lot of potential there and I want her to continue to see it. And I want to be able to see what she's doing so I can congratulate her on different things. She's got like 4 different partial businesses that she's half doing, just like everybody else, right? But she is going through some type of separation would be my guess. And I just kept seeing a bunch of negative posts. And I just sent her a message like, hey, are you okay? Like if you ever need anything, like Taylor and I are here. And like, so guys, if you're messaging a female in a situation like that, hey, my wife and I are always here for you. And females opposite too, because you never want to put yourself in a position that makes you look bad. So you need to make sure that you're protecting your integrity, right? Like you need to live, like in the Bible talks about living above reproach. Like you need to live above reproach. Like, hey, I didn't. Like in the message, it says, my wife and I are wondering if you're doing okay. Right. But so my point to that is I've seen a lot of negative stuff there. I'm not going to unfriend her because I know that Taylor and I are a light in her life. Like we are. Right. But at the same time, like if I don't know you and you're posting stuff that's just negative and I do not hold back on the, you're about to see, I do not hold back on the unfriend, but I don't care. I don't know you. What the hell does it matter?
Put people on that 30-day view thing.
If you post, if I see it once, if it's bad enough once, you're gone.
Yeah.
Like if it's annoying, I don't even mute you. I just won't pay attention to it. If I see it again, I'm like, all right, I can't, because my social media is valuable real estate to me.
Yeah.
Because I really believe that I believe I have $100,000 in premium or $1,000 app for every friend I have on Facebook. I just got to cultivate that. Right. I have to water the seed enough times. And so that's 500 grand in premium if I'm doing it right. Right. So why would I not actually be out here just really digging and cultivating and building that? Right. Actually, it's 5 million in premium. You get the point. But I'm just working through that. Right. I'm doing everything I can to make it beneficial for me because it's my Facebook. It's not yours. Doesn't need to be. My Facebook does not need to be beneficial for you. Right. So like we live, I just saw a light go off in your head because we live in a society that like you have to make everybody else comfortable. That is so backwards to actual life. That's not real. Like your truth is not like the 2 + 2 is 4. Like, I'm sorry. So like you can like, I'm just going to unfriend and remove things that pull my negative mindset, pull me into a negative mindset. Does that make sense? So I know I'm off on like 8 tangents, but social media is it can be a trap and you have to be very careful because of what you just said, Sean. But I don't waste my time. What?
In others markets?
Do I swim?
That's what I call it.
What do you mean?
Like, do you go farming in other?
Not really. I'm about to show you exactly what I do, right? Okay, so y'all are like, Dan, what the heck do you do? I'm gonna show you right now, okay? So I'm gonna go to Facebook. So you're like, hey, how do I get to this thing or whatever, right? Someone said that earlier. So I'm gonna go to menu. Okay, so y'all seen this before, right?
Yep.
So first off, let's look at my shortcuts. I got my gym group that I'm a part of that I go and comment on almost every post in there. I have Tampa Bay Dads, the West Chase neighborhood. I don't know why I'm in the crowd. Oh, that's Choose FI. Choose FI is a financial independence group, so I get a lot of little investment clients from there. And then just a couple people, businesses that I have, or businesses that I follow. So I'm gonna go to my Facebook. Okay. And I'm gonna come down here. Hey, look, I got a follower since the last time I showed you my Facebook page now, like 5 minutes ago. So I'm gonna come here to, you see where it says friends and it says see all friends? I'm gonna click on see all friends. Okay, and then I'm just gonna scroll for a second because I gotta get down to the Ds because I'm gonna show you exactly what I do. Okay, this is not,
Get them in alphabetical.
it automatically does that. I don't know, ask, you can send Mark Zuckerberg a Facebook, a message, he'll probably tell you. Because I have no idea, but I'm just gonna go ahead and scroll through this. I gotta get to the Ds, okay, so bear with me for a second, but what I'm gonna do when I get here, I'm gonna show you how quickly you can send 25 messages if you just pull yourself out of your
You
head.
could just type D.
Nope, you can't do that because they all won't show up. So, trust me, I've tried. Because people are like, I don't want to do this. It takes 2 minutes. Dude, it takes 2 minutes for you to go to the bathroom. Like freaking while you're sitting on the toilet, you can get to your letters. And then when you get back to your office, you can rip through your messages. Like, you're laughing, but it's like, dude, we make so many excuses in our life, do we not?
This is true.
Like, and I'm like, I opened up my base shop training to everybody else. So if y'all are mad that I'm being a little bit mean, you can leave the Zoom. But I'm kidding, but I'm also like, I'm serious. This is exactly how I train my team. It's like, we look for so many shortcuts all the
You know,
time.
also, if you hold that scroll bar,
Scroll bar.
that's on your right hand side,
Scroll bar.
if you press and hold it, yeah.
Oh, you just saved me hours of my life. My goodness, see, I learned something. I'm sorry. All right, everybody type Sean in the Zoom coach. You just made my life so much better. Thank you. I'll buy you coffee later. All right, so I gotta find the last person I sent messages to. Let's look. So
Somebody type in.
okay, so Daniel Lunny was the last person. So I'm gonna go find him. Where's my man? Oh, you know what? I sent him a message, then I unfriended him. Why? Because he didn't respond to me. Like I told you.
Have you tried to just to search their name? And if you search your name, will it start in alphabetical order from that point down or no?
No, it doesn't.
Okay, just that one person.
So look, I've literally sent him this message in September of 2022. He did not respond. And now I'm sending him another message. And guess what? I just forgot that I did that. I don't care. This guy used to be an agent on our team. So I'm just gonna say, what's up, man? Hope all is well. This guy, Daniel Trombley, is an RVP and relentless, so I'm not gonna message him. I don't know who this guy is, so I'm gonna come in here. Okay, I've never sent him a message, so I'm gonna say, what's up, man? Hope all is
You know,
well.
you could just copy and paste.
Sean. I'm aware that I could do that, but I've got shortcuts and I have copy and paste stuff set up. So this is a shortcut message. So I'm gonna go in here and this is the script. And I'm literally just gonna send this to him real quick. I have no idea who this person is. I do not care. Thank you for your help. And then I'll drop like a little emoji, right? So now I sent the message and I'm just gonna move on to the next person, Daniel Victor. I don't know who this guy is either. Let's see, also no messages. What's
Do you
up?
have an iPhone or Android?
What's up?
Is that an iPhone or an Android?
It's an iPhone. But you can set, like, that's a keyboard shortcut. That's not a copy and paste message, and I'll show you why in a second. I need to have both.
Keyboards
Be-
are awesome.
Yeah, I need to have both. What?
The shortcut.
It's in your keyboard settings. I'll show you in a second.
Yeah.
So this guy I went to school with, I'm pretty sure I've sent this guy a message. Yeah, okay, so I sent him a message back in September. He did not answer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and copy and paste my other message, right? So you're like, why don't you copy and paste? Well, I do. I have my client phishing message on the copy, and I have a shortcut for my recruiting message. So when I, what? Oh, no, you're good. So when I go through this, I'm looking for people, this person I've tried to recruit a few times. I'm not even gonna bother. I have no idea who this person is. Let's see.
After you unfriend them, do you block them or no?
No, because they can still see me. Most of the time they can still see what I'm doing. I just can't see what they're doing,
Yeah.
which is, that's fine for me. Carlos, what's up? Oh, wait, you should be able to unmute now.
Hey, bro, thanks again, man. Awesome stuff. Just a quick question. You said you didn't know those people, so how did you become friends with them?
Great question. I'll show you. Let me share my screen and I'll show you. Hang on.
Hey, by the way, guys, just a quick note too. You know, Dan talked about doing alphabetical. I've done that in the past, obviously on Facebook. I'm not a big social media guy, but don't forget, guys, you also have your own phone. And during pandemic, literally I did 300 messages in 5 days from just texting. Remember, your friends that are on your Facebook also probably your friends in your phone. And sometimes we have friends on our phone that are not on our Facebook. So don't forget that you also have your own phone that you could message.
Okay, so what I'm looking for right now, Carlos, is like the suggested friends spot. Honestly, I
Okay.
think they've removed that.
It's
Um,
still there.
That's fine. We'll figure it out. So I'm gonna come to, if I go here and go to friends, maybe, is that where it is? Yeah, okay, so
I
like,
know what you're saying. When you go to suggested, then they kind of suggest people that you may know through other.
yeah,
people.
so check this out. I just went to, I'll walk you through how I just got there. So I'm on my main feed. I'm gonna click on my friends here, go to my name. Nope, I lied, sorry. Main feed, click on this thing. There, click on friends. And then suggestions. These are people that are not friends with me and I'm not friend, like, there's no friend request sent yet, just suggestions. So I'm gonna go through here.
But you have mutual friends, that's why they keep popping up.
Yep, so
Dan,
Trey,
Dan, you're not just adding them, right? You're checking because a lot of them obviously could be, I mean, in my case, I have a lot of Primerica people because I've been in the business for years.
yeah, so I actually get a lot of Primerica people on here too. So if I know they're Primerica people, I won't add them, but like, watch, I'm just gonna, you can watch how I do this. So I'm just gonna go through. And if they look relatively professional, and they look like they might have kids, that guy's got kids.
So you're not checking first to see if they're already like a Primerica person.
No, because I'll figure it out when I send them a message, because they'll tell me I'm already in Primerica and then I'll just unfriend them. I'm here,
The trick is
When
the
it
more
comes to
mutual
page
friends you
up,
have, most
it'll
likely.
show. Sometimes they just have.
yeah, I'm not trying to spend hours on my Facebook Messenger. Like, I'm just trying to get this done as soon as I can, because this is an input activity for me. This is not an output activity, right? So I'm just planting seeds here. I'm not trying to like spend hours on Facebook trying to break the riddle and figure out if this person was in Primerica 13 years ago and never got licensed, but they still have an active PLPP. I don't give a crap. Like, I'm just gonna send them a message, and if they're like, I'm in Primerica, be like, okay, great, good luck. Like, seriously, like, you're laughing, but that's exactly what I'll send. So I'm gonna, like, I'll go through this, so like, I don't know this guy, I don't think, it doesn't look like he's in Primerica, like the mutual friends, doesn't look like Primerica people. I don't know who that is, but he's got Primerica friends, so I'm not gonna add him. So I just ballpark it, so she's friends with a realtor here in Tampa that I know, so I'm gonna add him. And I'm kind of looking at their suggested friends too. Like, the ones that pop up are usually ones that you interact with the most. So generally, you'll get to know their profile pictures. So like, I know that this guy, okay, so this guy is friends with Josh Gillespie, who's on my team, and then another person on my team. I'm not gonna add them. Why? Because if Josh and Brian are doing what they're supposed to do, this guy's gonna get the same messages that they would get from me, from them. Yes, exactly. Right? Because if my team farms the way that I teach them to farm, they shouldn't go more than 90 days without getting a message from me or one of my teammates. Does it make sense? So why would I go and try to triple up on the same people? This person, I do know her. She goes to the gym. That guy looks like he's relatively, so this is literally what I'm doing. Like, Jenna's got a couple kids in her picture. It might not be hers, don't matter. Again, I'm not trying to sit here and crack the code. I'm just trying to sit here and plant seeds. That's it. So, Carlos, that's how I add people. Guys, if you want to, you can turn that light back on. If you want to go through, like, if anybody wants to go through and like be a little bit more selective, by all means, go ahead. But I don't want to be spending, I want my inputs for my business to be as small and time consuming as possible, because I know if I do all my inputs, there will be days that I have no other appointments, but then there will be days that I have 15 or 20 appointments in a day. And I just don't care. Like, if I do all my inputs, like yesterday, I did all my inputs before 1 o'clock, and I went home, I took a nap, I watched a podcast, like, I closed the app. Ask Lee, I was downstairs and I made a phone call to one of my clients, one of my calls during our 2-hour window of calls. I closed the Life app over the phone. I set 9 appointments and I left and I went home, and then I sent my messages. I watched a podcast, an 1.5 hour long podcast online. I took a nap for like an 1.5 hours. I cooked some food. We went over to a friend's house. We got some ice cream, and then I had an appointment late last night. and I think like all the other RVPs that like run substantial activities could tell you the same. There's days that you're gonna be slammed on Zooms all day, and then there's days where you're like, do I even have a business? Like, is anyone doing anything? Like, it is what it is. Just understand that you can't control the output. You can only control the input. So if you're not where you want to be right now, it's not that you're not good enough. It's that you're not putting enough in. Like, you're not putting enough into the funnel, right? And the last thing I'm gonna tell you guys or teach you guys is this like sales funnel cycle, right? So the sales funnel, I started doing this on Tuesday night, right? I drew half of this, but every business has a funnel, right? And at the top of the funnel is your leads. So if the only thing that I'm doing here is Facebook, I am only limited to my Facebook by getting people into the funnel, right? And that first thing right here is just a contact. So if my only source of getting people is what I'm talking about right now, you're not going to beat me, right? You're not going to beat Dustin. You're not going to beat Julio or Carlos or Izzy or Dave. Why? Because we have out and about prospects, right? So look, like you've got prospecting, right? And I don't care if I spelt it wrong or if it's weirdly capitalized, you'll get over it. I've got BNI or networking group, right? I've got current clients. I've got beneficiaries on all the policies I've ever written, right? Like you've got all these different people that you can start filling into the top of your funnel, and then you all of a sudden won't have an activity problem anymore. But the activity problem stems from the fact that we don't do this, we don't do this, we don't do this, we don't do this, and we don't even do the F part of Facebook, we just do the B part, right? We just get on Facebook. We consume, yeah, exactly, the face part. We just get on and look at it.
Too much.
Way too much.
Jeez.
So the problem isn't that we don't know what to do. The problem is that we just probably we are nowhere near as efficient as we think we are. I'm not saying we're not doing the work. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to like make anybody mad. Like but the reality is like, if you think you're working, you're probably nowhere near at the capacity that you think you are. You live in, like we, myself included, live in a delusional society where we think that we are just working so hard and doing all of these things, and we're doing everything above and beyond what everyone around us is, and everyone else is winning but us. But in reality, if we go look at our DMs, we've sent one message in the last 30 days, and it was to a client that we haven't talked to in 6 years. And if you look at your call log, it's all inbound calls from your friends that are complaining about their life, and you going out making plans to go to the bar on Thursday nights and go to yoga class and do all this other stuff. Where if you look at, somebody that is winning in Primerica, I won't even use me as an example. You look at somebody that is winning in Primerica, like you look at Lee. I'm gonna pick on Lee Oliver. I think if Lee keeps coming in here like he has been, you're gonna watch this dude go from 6 by 6 last month or something like that to like 30 by 30 in the next 60 to 90 days if he keeps coming in, especially because he's got 2 of his guys coming in too. And yesterday, 2 of his guys set up 2 or 3 appointments each, and Lee set up 3 or 4, and he's closing a life app today off yesterday. So it's like you have to, if you're not local, that's fine. But like, dude, put yourself in an environment that makes you work. Like for me, I had to physically leave my house sometimes, not all the time, but I had to just go to Starbucks or Dunkin'. I had to change the environment. And just know that about yourself. So Whitney, what's up? I see you got your hand up. How you doing? Will you turn the light on in here again for me? Thank you.
Hey, yeah, I just had a quick question. So, and maybe this comes back to like blocking your schedule and things like that. You talked about how yesterday, you put your input into one and then went and did your other things. When you send out these messages, are you then like responding back to all those messages like right away throughout the day? Or do you designate a time like, okay, I'm going to come back tomorrow or later this evening? Sorry,
Yeah.
Mike, they're screaming.
No, you're good. It's okay. So everybody type speed is king in the Zoom chat real quick, or you should write that down in your notes. So that was probably the biggest thing I learned from Alex Hormozy was speed is king. It is so important that you respond to people when they do. Now, don't, if they message you right away and you're working off of like a copy and paste script, don't just like hit them with a message. Like I'm like, hey, Dustin, how are you? He's like, I'm good. I'm like, great. Are you open to an opportunity? Like, I'm just steamrolling him, right? Like, that's obviously not genuine, but you know, if I see like Whitney, let's say I sent you a message this morning and I saw you message me, I'm going to reply to you that day. And usually what I'll do is I won't reply to one until I got time to reply to 5 or 10. But if we're following a script, which is how you can minimize the amount of traction in your business, because then you know that when you're following a script, there's less variables. You didn't say the wrong thing to Dustin and the right thing to Sean, and that's why Sean came. I said the same thing to both of them. Like I can track the script, right? So that's a whole nother training for another day. But so to answer your question though, Whitney, what I do is I just copy and paste the script to like 5 to 10 at a time. Like I'll wait until I get a couple responses and then I'll go out and I'll send the responses back out. But if you're just getting started, you only send 25 or 50 messages for your first day and one person responds, well, freaking go respond to them. Don't wait until you got 10 responses. It might not be for a couple days until you have 10 responses. So like nurture what you have while you have it and then allow it to grow. Because it's, again, like Julio said, how long did it take for me to start getting traction? A while, 5 months or so of me posting something almost every day, of me sending messages almost every day. Like you have to, like you work it, like it's part of my business. Like I view my social media as work.
It's your job.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't have to go to work. I can work from my bed if I want to and generate most of my business. But I have to be disciplined with my time. I don't care where I am. I just care that I do it. That makes sense. And that's the same thing I tell my team all the time. Like, I don't give a crap where you're at. But if you're somebody that's like, I get distracted all the time, Elian, lock yourself in a freaking bathroom and send your messages and your friend requests and don't leave the bathroom until you do it. Because it really only takes you 10 minutes. Like it really, I could go and send 50 messages before we start 101 at 11 o'clock. I could go in my office right now, send all my messages and all my friend requests for the day. And I know that portion of my inputs is done. Because I can. And so you just have to, if you're not disciplined, I'm not trying to, Elian, I'm sorry, I love you. I'm not trying to pick on you, but if you're not disciplined enough to like get it done just kind of throughout the day, or like I like to do it while I listen to a podcast, like when I get to the office, usually I open up a podcast, I just send out my messages. Why? Because it's background noise. Like I do my office stuff, I listen to it, like I can knock out 4 or 5 of my 8 things on my checklist while I'm listening to that. So I hope this was valuable. I'll take one more question and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom and breathe for a second before I do one-on-one. What's up?
So when you set your appointment and they live in Tampa,
Yeah.
do you wait till Tuesday or Saturday to see them? Or do you?
Who's your RVP? Talk to him. I'm not your RVP. I talk to your RVP. I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. I don't really do op meetings unless you're not in market.
Okay.
I do one-on-one interviews personally, but talk to your RVP. Do not do what I'm telling you to do. Talk to them. It's not that mine's better than theirs. They used to only do op meetings. It is whatever system you're being trained on, run that system and don't change it.
Okay.
I can't stress that enough because no system works if you don't. All the systems work if you do.
Right.
Right? So do whatever they tell you to do. Stephanie, what's up? I saw your hand up earlier, so.
Stephanie.
Oh, you got it on mute. Go ahead.
Still can't hear.
We can't hear you. He's unmuted.
Hello.
There you go. Go ahead.
Hello.
You're good. Go ahead. Hello. Stephanie, are you alive? Blink twice if you need help. Okay, she's gonna ask it in the chat. Great. Everybody awkwardly stare at your Zoom screen until Stephanie texts out her question. Follow versus friend. You should all get 5,000 friends as fast as possible. Like if you ever grew up playing video games or anything like that, like I grew up playing Xbox and you get like achievements for hitting certain things. That should be like an achievement for you. You get 5,000 friends and you just hold it there. And when you start unfriending people and they'll start unfriending you, who cares? Just get it back up to 5,000. Right? I send about 25 friend requests a day. I unfriend about 5 to 10 people a day. While I'm going through my messages is usually when I unfriend those people because I'll see that I've sent Sean 8 messages and she didn't respond. So I'm just going to unfriend her, right? And I'm picking on you. You're fine. But that's the reality. That's again, my social media is business. My social media is not for you and me to become friends. If you want to be friends with me, shoot me a message and let's connect.
I'm okay with Bitcoin people.
What do I do with
Do you
Bitcoin
get-
people?
Have you gotten like into?
I
that?
block them, unfollow them, and I run away from them. Because they don't understand math or business or anything else.
They keep.
That's a whole nother conversation, but yeah, no, if someone's gonna try to message me about some type of opportunity, hey, Joe, let's jump on a Zoom call. I'll show you what I do, you show me what you do. Now, if you're trying to like get me to join your Forex trading company or whatever, like I'm out, like I'm not interested in that for many reasons, but if you're trying to get me to do anything else, hey, I'll network with you. You're trying to sell me like some miracle potion, like, yeah, let's jump on a Zoom. I'd love to hear about your business. Why? Because we smoke their comp plan. They're looking for an at-home opportunity, dude, all day, freaking put me in front of those people.
Mary Kay.
God bless Mary Kay. You're gonna sell like 7,000 lipsticks to make the same as one Max cake.
Huh?
It's crazy. So, all right, guys, I'm for real done.
Hey,
I-
just so you know the people that sell health markets, they go they want to, do you know they only get $45 for one referral?
Yeah, it depends on the company. Some of them do pay better than that, but yeah, it's giving them a wide variety of things. All right, hey guys, if you're on Zoom, I love you guys. Thank you. Hopefully you got value. Do me a favor. Snap like unpin me, Dustin, if you can, real quick. Everybody take like a little screenshot real quick, a picture, and go tag me on Instagram. That'd be awesome. I would love you guys forever. Just on your Instagram story. Just if you got value, go do that real quick. Well, everybody do like a pose or something and take a picture of your screen. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So what about who's in the audience?
All right, great. So tag me on your Instagram story, guys. I'd appreciate that. It's Dan Romai. Literally just like my name on the box here. I hope you all got value. Thank you so much for taking time to hop